Hugh Hewitt. Byron York is the lead investigative journalist over at the Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor extraordinaire. Byron, how big of a deal, how big of an earthquake is Operation Arctic Frost?
It's a big deal. But Dwayne called me up a couple of minutes ago. And he said, now, this really is unprecedented, isn't it? And I said, no, it's actually not. I do remember a story that happened in 2014. John Brennan, such a great guy, who was head of the CIA at the time, had to apologize to Dianne Feinstein, who was the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, because the CIA spied on the Intel Committee. They tapped the computers of the staff of the Intel Committee.
All right, I think this is unprecedented. I'll tell you why. You're right about Feinstein. They went after staff. Snooping on senators' phone calls, 8 of them? I've never heard. I know we went after bad guys before Wilbur Mills got, thrown in jail. We went after people with money in their freezer. I can't remember that guy's name. I think he was from Louisiana. But 8 senators and the Republican Attorney General's Association. He's like Beria. Jack Smith is like our own Beria.
It is a huge deal, and the whole. If you just look at the Trump, the specific indictments of Trump that Jack Smith engaged in, which was the January 20th indictment and the documents indictment. Every story about this said, well, this is a novel interpretation of the law, or these are novel charges that have never been tested before in court. I mean, Jack Smith was just either making things up or stretching the law beyond, its breaking point. So to see this, I have to tell you, it is a huge deal. But I am not super surprised by this.
I had a suggestion. I've bounced it off Senator Schmidt. I'm going to bounce it off Senator Ernst as well, which is that Leader Thune ought to stand up a select committee like the Watergate Committee and put Cruz and Cotton and Eric Schmidt and Josh Hawley, all our smart lawyers. They're a bunch of Mike Lee. I'm forgetting some. Put them on the Republican side. Don't rig it like the J6 committee. Don't, veto whoever the Democrats want to put on there. They get their minority counsel. But grind, beginning with the lowest level secretary in Jack Smith's office all the way up to Christopher Wray and Merrick Garland and find out what happened. I think it'd be A, must viewing, and B, we might get some charges out of it. What do you think?
Well, you're right. Do not ever rig a committee again like the January 6th committee. Never, ever, ever. I think it's a good idea because, I was interested. You had it was Senator Schmidt on earlier, right?
Correct. And
he was saying, well, we think it's the phone logs right now, but we don't really know if it stops at that. And that's a huge difference. A phone log and the actual content of a conversation are two really different things.
Yeah, I'm using the word surveillance because it covers everything. I'm not saying tap.
Right. So but I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying we need to know more about this to be sure that the phone logs were the only thing that happened and other things. I mean, we know that the FBI abused the FISA court in the Trump investigation to get a wiretap and renew a wiretap on an American. And I will tell you, there are members of Congress who were involved in the Trump investigation who did believe that somebody like the FBI, maybe the FBI, was looking at them very closely. Not sure if it was on
Well, now nothing is going to surprise me anymore, Byron. I'm so shocked because I did my time at DOJ in the White House counsel's office. No one would ever think of surveilling a senator unless it was abscam, right? Unless someone got caught putting money in their trench coat. Then you have to do it. But even then, you're very careful about it. What's that guy's name? Harrison? He was from New Jersey.
Harrison Williams, I think.
Yeah. And so it happens, but not 8 of them, not on some cooked-up deal. And I want to know what Christopher Wray knew. What did Merrick Garland know? And the way you start is at the bottom, and you work. There's an Alexander Butterfield out there. Does anyone remember that? Do you remember Alexander Butterfield?
He was the one who I believe revealed the existence of the Watergate tapes in his testimony to the Watergate Committee.
Sleepy day at the committee.
Previously unknown existence, yes.
Yeah, and he said, well, we got the taping, and everyone said, what? And it's sort of like this came out last night, and I could not believe it. So what have you heard people say about it inside the Beltway today?
Well, first of all, thanks to Senator Grassley for leading on this. He's been a real big deal about this, and he was the real leader on the Senate side when Devin Nunes was on the House side of the investigation into the Trump-Russia matter. People are appalled, and the only thing the only question there ever is in the first stages of this is, how far did this go? Did they tap these senators? Did they do other things? And did they do this to other people beyond these 8 names that we have right now? So
well, Eric Schmidt told me they did it to RAGA, to the Republican Attorney General's Association, which included Ashley Moody and himself. So it's 10 senators now. Okay.
Then the point is, well, it's just increased by a couple since the earliest reports. So the question is always, is this it, or is there more? And the thing is that when you look, you often find more.
And if you look well, now what usually happens with committees is they grandstand when, in fact, do you remember Iran-Contra, the minority leader, ranking member was Dick Cheney, and he had a lead counsel by the name of Richard Leon, and Dick Leon was a bulldog. He ended up being a federal district court judge, very, very good one, senior status now. They need to hire serious prosecutors here and do it all in the open so that there's a cleansing. Doesn't the FBI need like a car wash?
Well, they do, and I heard you saying that you had never been a prosecutor, and a lot of senators have never been a prosecutor. They need to get people who actually have been prosecutors, and I absolutely agree with that, because the one thing you have to guard against when you're dealing with the Senate and the House is just the tendency to bloviate of members, and certainly in hearings, if they're public hearings, it's more difficult to get the information to the public, even if they discover the information, in staff.
Remember how they cleared Brett Kavanaugh? They yielded all their time to the lawyer.
Yeah.
And the lawyer. Yep. That's how you get someone, and that's how you clear someone. Is
Give
you yield all your time. Hey, Byron York, thank you. Follow him on X at Byron York. Follow me the next.